So this is the practice. It's called coming back into your belly, which is the source of your true mind. Okay? Now we could spend a while talking about that. But basically, our conceptual mind is more located in the head or brain, and the intuitive mind, or the more connected mind, is more in the belly. So this is something you may feel, right? I have a gut feeling. I feeling. When you have an intuition, it's not the same as a thought, is it? So there's something about the deep connection with life is more in the belly. And they know now, modern science knows this is called the gut brain. They know very well that there's a lot of intelligence in here. There's actually another brain there. But it's not the same brain as the one that fixes the sink if it's got a plumbing problem. It's the one that knows the path, that knows the way to connect, that knows how to be in harmony. It knows how to feel. So it's like a deeper wisdom mind. So this practice is there to wake that up that we're doing today, and to live from that. So to live from your belly rather than from your head. And just we're listening to a discourse the other day about one of our teachers was saying that some Zen master, I forgot his name, but a Zen master used to teach with two dolls. He used to have these dolls, and one doll had they were the same, but one had like a weight in its head, like something like a piece of metal, and the other doll had a weight in his belly, like a piece of metal in the belly. And he would hold up the dolls for the students. Sati and I, we have to make, or maybe some of you know how to make dolls, then I would love to have these two dolls. The first doll, when you set it up, it always falls down because the head's heavy. So he would put the doll in front of the student and the doll would fall down on the head, right? Because there's a big weight in the head. And then the other one, you sit it down, and even if you push it, it comes back to the center because the weight's in the belly. The energy's in the belly. So he would even if you push the doll, it goes. And that was kind of his way to teach the students where they should be practicing without using words. So that's what we're doing today, is we're going to get into that wisdom belly and activate it and feel it and connect with it. So the first section is we do a chant, and we chant Om, just to keep it simple, and we chant the Om in the belly region. So when you feel, and we're going to be doing a mudra, so normally, we're chanting Om like this, from the heart center. This, we're going to put our hands on our belly and chant Om from the belly. So you feel the sound inside your belly. And what I mean belly, I mean just the whole thing, okay? But maybe a little bit more the focus in the navel center, because that's where you were connected to the mother, and that's also where you're connected to the cosmic mother, because so your navel is your kind of access gate to the universal mother. So when we chant Om, we feel it in the navel. So let's do that first, and we do it 3 times. And really feel like your whole belly is radiating with the sound vibration. Okay, so that first section is you tuning in to your navel chakra with the sound Om, and you feeling So you're kind of going there. So in the last two practices we did a 9 purification breath and the Guru Yoga. This is the Guru Yoga, the connection to your wisdom nature that's in your belly. Okay? No longer floating out there as the enlightened being. It's in your navel center, and you're feeling it. So that's the first section, is a Guru Yoga of the navel, Guru Yoga of your source. And you can chant that 3 times or more. That's the first section. So remember, I'm explaining first, and then we're going to go through the whole practice. The practice take about 15 minutes or so, but depending on how you can do each one of these practices a little longer if you have more time. But I like to keep it around the 15, 20 minutes, so it's, not something too much of an obstacle for people. So that's the first section. Now the second is we do something which is a kind of purification. And if you notice, we do this thing called the Guru Yoga, which is to connect to the source. And in this case, we're going into the source inside us, because the source is everywhere. It doesn't matter where you find it. But in this case, we're really chanting the Om with a connection to the navel center. And then we're going to do a purification breath. Instead of the 9 purification breath, we're doing a purification breath called Vastrika. And Vastrika is a type of breathing that energizes that center of the navel, but it's a very cleansing practice. And we're doing a very gentle version of Vastrika. Sometimes they're called breath of fire because it is heating, and it generates an internal heat. So it wakes up this chakra, wakes up the navel center, and you feel like it's like you're lighting a fire inside you. And then that fire is the fire of the divine sun, but it's also your physical digestion and everything else, right? And as you know from Ayurveda, the source of your health is digestion. So if this area is running well, like good energy there, you can eat rocks. That's what they said in the yoga text, but I don't know. Sometimes they exaggerate. You can try to eat rocks, but I haven't tried it myself, and I have a good digestion, So this first section is Vastrika, and this, we're going to do a particular mudra for this one, and this is also to do with the fire element. You do the one, when you want to flip somebody off, and give them your fire. So this is you're doing like that, and you're pressing your palms together firmly, so that you feel the sides of your body tight a little bit, but not like this, so that the shoulders scrunch up, but just enough that you feel the sides tighten. Okay? And that focuses all the energy in the lower belly. And then we do a breathing. This one's through the nose, and you're just pumping the belly in and out. So it's a little bit like, when we do Kapalabhati, we draw the belly back. This one, you're just using the belly in and out. Press your palms. Keep the chin down. Okay? So that's the Vastrika. Basically, Vastrika means a bellows. It means the thing like you get a fire going. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So your belly's going in and out. It's all about the belly. Okay? So we do that for a little while. Vastrika, that's called. With this mudra. Okay? Now that is the purification and the heating. You'll see when we do it as a practice, you'll see how it heats up the body quite quickly. And then we're going to, after we do that, we'll do one round of Vastrika, and this is up to you how many times you want to do it. If you're used to this kind of thing, you can do 108. If you're not used to this kind of thing, I would just do like 21 or something like this. I wouldn't recommend anybody doing more than 108 at this point. I think it would create too much inner heat. Okay? So we're going to do that together. Well, maybe I'll do it about 50 times or something like that together. And you can make it longer or shorter if you feel it's too much. Then we take a deep inhale, and we do a special mudra here. Is you put your finger at the same when we do the 9 purification breath. You put your thumb at the base of your ring finger and you roll your fingers around your thumb. You'll see babies have this position a lot. If you ever look at babies, they're often holding their hand like this. Both hands are like this. And then you turn the elbows in and you put the bony part of your wrist at the junction of the top of your thigh and you push down lightly. And what that does, when you push down, you're pushing on two energy points here. You're also tightening the sides, and also you can allow the shoulders to come up. It feels a little weird at first. This is called the eagle pose. Now, if for some reason you're feeling this is too hard on the wrist, okay, make sure that you're pushing with the bone, not the hand. That part of the whatever this bone is called, that's what you're pushing, not the hand. Otherwise, you're pushing the wrist, you see? Now, if you do it gently, I don't think anybody's going to have a problem there. Can everybody see that? Okay, and the chin is down. So we do the Bhastrika. Then you're going to take a deep inhale, hold the breath, and then you're going to, without breathing, pull your belly back and push it out and rotate at the same time. So you're pushing your belly out and pulling it back in while you're rotating the pelvis. Around 7 times and then to the left 7 times, still holding the breath and pulling up the pelvic floor. And then you release quickly like this. You can already feel, can you feel the heat? Can you feel the heat generated? So if you understand this, it's basically you're inhaling and you're pulling the lower navel to the back of your spine and pushing it out again, and then rotating while you're lifting the pelvic floor. This is called a Bumpa Chin. It means a vase breathing, and it's to generate heat. I can already feel this, like an energy movement. So this first section, when we do the Om, we're using the Om to really feel our navel center, to feel our fire center, to feel our solar center. We're using the Bhastrika to activate it and purify it. And we're using the Bumpa Chin to increase the energy, physical energy in the body, and also start to generate a lot of power there, a lot of heat, internal heat. Okay? And then we do 3 rounds of that. So you do Bhastrika, Bumpa Chin, arrow breath, and then repeat. Okay? So that's the second section, and we're going to do 3 rounds of that. So far, so good? If you have any questions, we can have a little time for that when I finish the explanation. This kind of practices where we do Bhastrika and Bumpa Chin like this with the inhale retention is activating the solar force in the body. And this function is purification, increasing your life force, increasing the prana energy, stimulating the Agni, the 3 types of Agni. Agni means fire in Sanskrit. So these are fire practices. All right? And then the second section, I think maybe you just watch for a moment, is I just come down after we do 3 rounds, then we're going to come into a child pose. Just watch, because you can do later. And when I'm in the child pose, that's okay, it's good. Yeah. Yeah. So after I've done that, I'm going to be in the child pose like this. And this one with the feet a little wider, okay? Sometimes we do child pose with the knees together and there's more stretch on the back. This one's the knees are wide, so you can feel the navel. So the belly is kind of coming down in between the legs a little bit. Okay, and I think, Chris, if it's trouble, I don't think you can do that. It doesn't matter. You just sit. It doesn't. You don't have to be in this posture because it's more a feeling thing. So it doesn't really matter. If you can't do it, if anybody having trouble with this posture, then you can also just sit. That's fine too.
Sit and bend down.
Yeah. Maybe you could have your knees apart and then bend forward. No, I don't think it's better because then the head's down. It's better to just sit, Chris. Okay. Now, in that position, I'll explain what we're going to do. So you're in the child pose. You've just activated a lot of energy, and then you're going to start to feel that energy inside your belly. Okay, it's there, for sure. And you're going to feel it, and then when you start to feel it, you might feel like heat or something, and it might go lower, more into the sexual center. That's also fine. But you may feel a little bit more like something like in the belly. And then from that energy that's moving, you start to allow it to move your spine. So you let the energy from the awakened prana energy start to feel like your spine is moving from that. So how that might look is I'm here in the child pose, right? Then I start to feel the energy in the navel. Then I feel that it's the energy from the belly is starting to move my spine. So I'm kind of like, I'm giving it some help, right? If you just kind of wait there for your spine to move, it may not do that. It may. But if you just kind of help it along a little bit and just let the spine express the energy that was awakened in the navel. Yeah, it's that simple. And then after a while, you move into a more cat pose, and you continue with that expression of the energy of the navel going through the spine. So basically, I think a lot of people know this, is a kind of free-form movement of the spine in the cat pose, but the origin has to stay from the energy that was woken up in the navel center. And you just allow your spine to kind of, almost like, like if you light a fire and the flames come up from the fire, that's like your spine, like that. So the fire is there, and then the expression of the flames is your spine. Make sense? And then you just kind of go with that for a while. All right? Then after we do this awakening the spine energy, then we're going to do a qigong posture, a qigong practice. That maybe you can all stand because so you can do it a couple times with me. It's not so complicated, but
You tell me when.
tilt it a little more. Okay, yeah. Okay, so
Chris can do a sitting, right?
yeah, and then also Chris, you can do the same thing sitting because it's mostly arms anyway. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't work.
So from here, you're going to bend your knees, right? So the feet are about shoulder width apart. So it's quite wide. It's quite wide, but not super wide. But you want to feel a little bit like you're like on a horse or something, okay? So standing, like boom, on a horse. Okay? Then you're going to start with your hands on your belly, because this is what we're focusing on. Right. Now, the qigong practice is what you do is when you inhale, you allow the arms to expand around the entire universe's energy. So you, almost like you're feeling like you're holding the whole ball of the energy of the universe. Then when you exhale, you're guiding that energy down into your lower belly, into your belly button. And then you drop it in. Okay, so then you expand, big ball of energy, inhaling, then exhale, the little ball gets a little bit smaller, and then you put that ball of energy in your belly and drop it down. Expanding, gathering energy, Feel it like coming into a little ball. And then drop it in. Exhale. Inhale. Into a little ball. Exhale. Drop it. One more time. In. Goes into a little ball. So that's holding your breath a little bit. Drop. When you drop, so you got the ball, basically you're holding the breath here. When you drop the ball, you sink a little bit and you feel that energy ball go into your navel center. In. Gathering the universal life energy. Bring it into a little ball. And then drop it. Exhale. In. Compressing. And dropping. So this point here when you're dropping, it's quiet. Then again, open. Okay? So that seems simple, but it is it's quite refined. So it might take some time to get the feel for that. It's called gathering the life energy and putting it in the lower belly, putting it in your belly. So what you're doing now, you can visualize light, huge ball of light, like the sun, and then you're making it really like a small ball, and then you're dropping it down, and when you drop it into the belly, you feel the energy go through your whole body. Okay, so this is a Qigong method to increase the vitality of the body and to also connect you with the life energy. And so it's a longevity practice, but it's also to really start to establish yourself in the real center of your being, which is your belly. And to get that going, to get it awake, because we're mostly in our heads, mostly, right? So now this next section from here to the equinox is about getting out of your head and into your belly. That's the whole thing. These are just to help you do that. The last practice is a universal life energy mudra, also Qigong, Chinese yoga. Now this is really where it starts to be kind of the fruit of what you've just been doing is this. And it involves two mudras. One hand, left hand palm up, resting on the top of your leg. This can be done sitting on a chair as long as your spine is straight. Left hand facing up, right hand facing down, resting down. So your palms are like this. Yeah? Left hand is facing up, right hand facing down, resting on the... Then you focus in the navel center onto the belly. And then you feel the life energy coming down like a rain of energy. And it's coming in through your left palm and it goes into your belly. And you feel like all the energy of the universe is going into your belly. But do it in a passive way, not like sucking the energy of the earth and then spinning it around. Just feel like it's just dropping in there like somebody's pouring it into your belly. And then it kind of swirls for a while, and then it starts to start to feel like there's abundance, and that goes out through your right palm into the earth. So you're starting to become this kind of flow centered in the vortex of the navel between the sky and the earth. So, Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha. Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha. So the sky, the middle, the Native Americans called the diaphragm the horizon of the human body. So this is the horizon, this is the Bhuhu. Bhuvaha is the earth. I'm sorry, Bhuvaha is the center, Bhuhu is the earth. So you're establishing yourself as a flow of life force from the sky to the earth. And then you sit for a moment. Then when you do that, you start to feel it, automatically your spine will start to move. And this one, make sure your tongue, I didn't explain in the Qigong one, but your tongue should always be touching the roof of the palate behind the teeth. Then you'll start to feel some spontaneous movement. And when you feel that spontaneous movement, keep your spine very relaxed. And just let it go. Feeling this energy coming down into your left palm, swirling around in the navel, which is very awake, and then going and flowing back into the earth like a kind of energy waterfall. And your spine is very loose, very relaxed. Okay, and then you start to feel that movement, and then you just follow that movement for a while. All right? And then the last section is you just sit for a while and then feel the navel center with this mudra here, which is a meditation mudra. And you just feel you're centered in your navel. And just sit quietly for a few moments without doing anything. Okay? So that's the explanation. And we're going to do it, but if there's any questions, this is a good time to ask, and then I'll just go. Basically take about 15-20 minutes to do. And you can make it up to half an hour to an hour if you wanted. If there's any questions about the technique, this is a good time to ask.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you're holding your hand, say your left hand is up and open, the other one is down, but I cannot see your knees. Do you put them over your knees or on your
Yeah,
knees?
like this.
Okay, so it's not the problem that's closing up. The palm is closing.
What's that?
You're closing up your palm because you're putting it on your knee, so it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the hand is. So there's a three. You can do your hand like this, which is, kind of hard. Then you can have a kind of like passive hand that's not doing anything. It's in between. It's kind of like it's awake but not tight. So it's relaxed on the thing, but you're not totally passive with the hand. It's not like you're just kind of going. You want to feel some energy in the hands, and especially in the palm. So you have to activate the energy meridians by opening the fingers a little bit, but they're still resting in a comfortable way. The main point is you feel the energy in the palm, okay? In order to do that, you need to activate the hand a little bit.
But it's not fully closed on the knees, it's like a little bit supported.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like for instance, resting on the knee, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. It's just awake. Yeah? Is that okay? All right. Yes. Katrin.
I was wondering about when does the out-breath start with the standing Qigong practice?
Yeah, there's a couple ways to do that. So when you're standing, right, you let the ball fill up. That's an inhale. And you feel like, oh, the whole universe energy is coming into you, right? And then you suspend the breath for a moment, so you allow the compression. So if you exhale there, you could do that, and it's a different Qigong technique, but this is you're gathering the energy and you're kind of compressing it. It's a little bit like this one. Because you're holding the breath, and that little ball is getting pretty intense. And then exhale, drop. In. So that's a suspension. Put that energy down. But if you feel that using your breath this way is disturbing you some way and making you complicated, just do the movement, breathe freely. Because the movement is more important than the breath. So don't force the breath. So for instance, you could do inhale, exhale. Make that all one smooth exhale. That's fine too. As long as you're getting the feeling that gathering the energy, placing it in the navel, sinking into the energy, let it distribute. Opening the energy, gathering the energy, dropping it in the navel. Okay? You could even do it just with your mind. But that's the most important. So you can do one of those two breathing techniques. Yeah, one question there from Teresa.
Hi. After the Vastrika breathing, do you retain the breath when you're doing that
Yes.
turning?
Yes. So we're doing the Vastrika for a little while. Then you take a deep breath, and then you bring the energy down into the navel, pull up the pelvic floor. While you're holding the breath, you're swirling that energy around. It's like sticking it in a pressure cooker and heating it up. Then when you release, there's this energy release called the arrow breath. You just quickly exhale through the nose and let out any extra energy out the crown of your head. Any other questions? Yeah.
I have one question. I'm suffering from a lot of allergies, and my nose is half open, but sometimes breathing out is hard through the nose. So, what would you advise?
Yeah. So just breathe through whatever breathing place you can. Right? Yeah, just try to breathe wherever you can. Don't worry about it. All these things need to be very relaxed. You could do it in a very, very precise way, but that's not really how I want to convey it. I just want you to be relaxed as possible. The main thing we're doing here is to connect to the energy in the navel. Okay? So just breathe however you can. It's fine. No problem. Any other questions before we run through the practice?
Could you repeat for us the mantra to open the chakras, the tapa, those?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because that's not on the sheet. I didn't give you that. So the first mantra, Om Buhu, Om Buhu, Om Bhuvaha. So this practice we did with the Gayatri is not going to be part of your practice unless you want to. We just did that as part of the solstice. So those of you don't need to worry about this one, but Sunny wants to know. But this is not something we're asking you to do. If you want to, you can for sure. Om Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. Those are the 7 lokas. You know when we say Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, that's what they're talking about in all dimensions of existence. That's what these are, the 7 lokas, the names of the 7 lokas. So if you want to find it, you can search on the Google, the 7 lokas. And the last section, don't worry about that right now. I'll see if I can find, I have a good, I think I put it in one of the manuals that, if it's somewhere, one of the manuals from the teacher's trainings, it should be in there, the whole mantra. Okay, you guys ready to do it? Okay. So I'm going to go through with a, let's say, minimum one, which is I'm going to say it's looking to be like about 15 minutes or something. So then when you follow it, it might seem a little bit short for you. You can extend it later once you get familiar with the practice. If there's not any more questions, you can also ask some questions later, but we wanted to save the last part of this workshop for more like a satsang. But this is a little more technical than the last one. I agree. So, but you can't get it wrong if you're If your mind is in your belly, nothing can go wrong, okay? If you get too complicated about it, yeah, it's going to get weird. So don't worry about it. Just get your belly, wake up. Wake up your belly. All right. So if there's no more questions, then we'll continue. Okay, so we start with the mantra, focusing on the navel. Feel your navel belly start to waking up. And just spend a few moments feeling the energy of the navel. Placing your hands in this mudra here. Pressing the palms together. Feeling the ribs tight, but the shoulders are relaxed. And we do Bhastrika together. First, before you do Bhastrika, you inhale. And then you start. Okay, I'm going to do 21. Then you inhale, put your hands in this mudra, hold your breath, pull up the pelvic floor. While you're holding the breath, spin around towards the right, pull up the pelvic floor 7 times, and then spin to the left, and then release. Feel the belly again. Now we're going to repeat that 2 more times. So I'm doing a very gentle Bhastrika, it's only 21 repetitions, and then 7 rotations. Deep inhale, push down, pull up, feel the energy getting swirled around to the left 7 times. Keep your head in the middle, and release. Feel the navel. Repeat. This time we're going to do a little more, double the amount of Bhastrika. Deep inhale, pull up and push down. Then see if you can pull your navel to the back of your spine and push it back out again while you're rotating. Other direction. And release. Okay, you should feel now quite a lot of energy there. So just feel that for a moment, connect to it. And we're going to go down into the child pose, maintaining your feeling of connection to that energy that's woke up in your belly. And just feel that. Feel your spine starting to move from the energy that's coming from the navel. Like the flames coming from a fire, your spine is moving. And you can include your arms, almost imagine your arms are part of your spine. Remember, the origin of the movement is from the energy that's in the belly. And then just let your spine wave from the energy that's arising from the navel. Start to come into more of a cat pose. Continue with that feeling that the energy of the navel is moving up the spine and helping, almost like the spine is the flames, and the very crown of your head is the last part of the flame. And the navel center and sexual center is the heat. Let go. Don't worry about your breathing in this one. Just let the breath go free. You could even breathe through the mouth. It's fine. Actually, it's better you breathe through the mouth a little. That way you don't build tension. And just let yourself go completely spontaneous, but maintain the feeling of the origin is in the navel. So the movement's coming from there. The energy's coming from there. All the chakras are moving with the energy along the spine. If you feel you need to release a little bit of energy, exhale through the mouth. Sometimes there's a lot of kind of blockage there. Good. Then coming into the samurai pose, which is sitting on the heels. I didn't explain that, but that's how we get up. So you were in the child pose, and then you end up here, right? Right, this one. And that's how you get up to the standing. So you're here, then you stand up. Get your feet a little wider. Now we're going to do the energy ball practice. Find your horse. Really imagine you're sitting on a horse. So it's quite wide. Then you come back to your navel center. Feel that energy there. Good. Now feel the ball expanding. Inhaling. And then you feel, so you can either hold your breath or you can exhale through the whole movement. Then exhale here. In. So you could exhale there if you wanted to, or you could hold your breath. Feel your gathering energy. Big ball comes down into a little ball of energy. And bring it into the belly and drop it down. And when you drop it down, you straighten the legs just a little bit. Then when you go back into the energy ball, you bend the knees a little bit. So it's a little bit up and down. Let's do that a little bit longer. Okay, I'm going to break this breathing into differently. So let's do it together. Inhale, raising the arms. Inhale. Exhale into a little ball. Inhale down to the belly. Exhale, drop the ball. I think that's going to be better for everybody. Inhale, raising, opening the ball. Big giant ball. Exhale, coming to a little ball at the throat. Inhale, bring that ball down to the navel. Exhale, drop it down. Let's do 3 more. Exhale, little ball. Inhale, bring the ball down. Drop the ball. Energize your body. And drop it. Good. Now do it in very relaxed. Imagine a big ball of energy. Okay, I'm going to add one more thing. This, if you can remember, when you drop the ball, you swallow the saliva. So you have some saliva in your mouth, you swallow. In. X. In. Drop and swallow. One more with the swallowing. Little ball. In. Swallow. Good. Now just come back into this position here with your left hand resting on your right. Straighten the legs just a little bit, but don't lock your knees, and feel the energy in this part of your body. Like a radiating sun. Then we're going to sit down. You starting to feel some energy there? Okay. This last section, we're going to do the Universal Life Energy Mudra. So place your left hand resting on the top of your thigh, right hand activated. Open the energy of your palms so you feel a little bit like your palms are awake and the fingers are awake. Then just start to feel the energy flowing down through your left hand into your navel center and out into the earth. Let your tongue rest lightly on the top of the palate. And then don't worry about the breathing, just relax and just let your spine be free to move. The pelvis is free to move. And just allow yourself to be an empty, let the energy of the breath of life, and the prana of the universe flow through you. And you just let it be. You don't try to control it or move it in any way. But feel that connection to the sky and to the earth. Now, the movements of the spine are completely spontaneous, but you can also help them along if you feel it helps you get out of your head. And the focus of your energy is again in the navel. It's feeling in the navel. That's where all the movement's coming. So the whole focus of this is allowing in a state of presence. Don't lose your consciousness, but don't try to do anything. Just let it happen to you, but be present. And it's all about movement and energy, so feel that there's enough relaxation in your body to allow whatever energy wants to move. Usually comes in spirals and loops. pulsations. Make sure you're not holding your neck tight, that your neck is free. And sometimes we do a little bit of sound in this just to help any tension that might be there with the sound of ah. It's like a let go sigh sound. Let go of all tension. Yield to the spirals, yield to the energy. It could be big movements, it could also be very small, refined movements. There's no rules. But stay in your belly, not in your head. And let the spine be like a piece of seaweed in the ocean. There's no feeling of anything can hold it. Almost like the waves are moving the spine like a piece of seaweed. So you feel a little bit more like water, not like a hard thing. Don't worry if you don't feel something so much in the beginning, but after a while you practice this, you'll feel very clearly spontaneous movements of energy. Sometimes it kind of push out some emotional energy, then you can also make a ha sound, like ha. Sometimes get stuck in the heart a little bit. Okay? And then we're going to go in the back, put both palms down, and then just feel that you're back in your own center. Sometimes a lot of energy can start to move here just by feeling and disconnecting. Sometimes it feels like a very still, and sometimes it feels like a lot of energy. Both are quiet, both are stable, but one is movement and one is stillness. And then the last section, we go into this mudra with the thumbs touching and your left hand resting on your right. And just relax with the eyes open, looking towards the floor about 2 meters, soft eyes. And just be in the navel center, like that doll I was saying, just be in the center of your belly. Feel the energy is there, feel you're established there. Without any tension whatsoever, just stay very relaxed. So you can feel also like your eyes are, although your eyes are open and looking outwards, another part of your eyes is looking down into your belly, like a kind of the backs of your eyes are, I know it's maybe a strange feeling, but the backs of your eyes are resting in your navel center. So you're seeing from your belly, you're not seeing from your head. Okay, now that's the end of the actual sadhana, but that's just the beginning. For the rest of the day until the next day, including the night, you have to stay in your belly. As much as you can remember. If you have to put sticky notes on your forehead, on your ice cream, whatever you go for all the time, hot dogs, I don't know. Put something to remind you to stay in your navel center. That's the practice, actually. So we're going to do that until the next, until the equinox, is you're going to establish yourself in the navel center. And I can tell you this is a total revolution. I can tell you in advance. If you do it, it's pretty much a 100% guarantee it'll change your life. If you don't do it, there's a 100% guarantee it won't change your life. No, okay. If you don't do it, there's a 1% chance by spontaneous alignment of the stars, you might somehow get something, but better you don't take that gamble, right? So just why not just do it? So this practice we do is, I did it, that was about 20 minutes or so. You can make it a little bit longer if you like, or you can, but I wouldn't make it much shorter than that. And you can extend sections of it a little longer, like the ball one, where you're taking the energy ball, or if you have a more capacity, you can do more Bastrika. But the main practice is that's just to get you to get out of your head and into your belly. All the time. Even if you have to make an important decision. Don't go into the here, go down here. Okay? That makes sense? Any questions?